Hello. It's always great to make friends at work, but it's even better when you work with your friends. Ed, you and I go way back. We've had many discussions over the years around food and consumer trends, and now we're both working together at FutureBridge, where we're focusing on helping our former employers understand the future of their industries. I'm delighted you found the time for a chat today, and I'm looking forward to exploring the state of innovation.
To be fair, most of the time we talked about grilling in the past. Normally you telling me what you've grilled and I either wanting to eat it, being fed by it, or just becoming very, very jealous. But I know we're talking about innovation today.
So let's throw a big one up there to start with. What is the current state of innovation?
If you talk about today, you've said current, so I'm going to take you to it. Looking at the last few years, and of course we've got this kind of anchor post of COVID, but I think we're moving on from that, and maybe the aftermath of that from a geopolitical and economic, all those reasons. I don't think innovation has been particularly interesting, quick over the last few years. Hopefully I won't ruffle any feathers. In fact, at the moment, innovation is at its slowest ever. This is true new innovation. So of course you've had, new claims appearing and new positionings that are slight changes to what was there before, or a new flavor here and there. Overall, we haven't seen a dramatic change in the recent years, and we're in a really slow period, at least for the last 5 years.
That's an interesting assertion there. Would you say that that's true globally, or is that just something we're seeing in the West?
So I think that's actually global. So when you look at product innovation over the last 5 years across the world, there haven't been dramatic new markets appearing in different countries. We already had, the convenience occasion expanding 5 years ago. 2019 was probably at its height, and then it settled during COVID because people were at home, and it's returned to an extent. We had cuisines in food service. So of course there's new markets, maybe in the Middle East, where they've become a bit more Western in their offerings. But overall, innovation has been quite slow, and probably because taking risks, manufacturers, innovators taking risks, the risks have been too great, and they're a little bit concerned by the spend that they would need to put in to making an innovation successful.
So when you look at across our industry, across our clients, they've all got big R&D organizations with people with innovation in their title, and they've been coming to us. What have they been working on?
So you have this terminology of innovation versus sort of renovation.
Yeah.
They've been working hard on, I'll give you a few things. So one of them is aligning to regulations. So we have seen regulations across many regions globally, not just in the West, many regions globally, the demand for high fat, salt, sugar, those ingredients to be reduced in products. We've had the ultra processed trend continuing, and therefore, can we clean up labels a little bit? Can we make things a little bit cleaner? The product in and of itself is probably still the same, playing in the same occasion. They've just taken out some sugar and some salt and so on to make it. Hopefully they can keep it palatable. So the innovation has been around, how do I reduce all of these ingredients, reformulate my best-selling core ranges, while still aligning. So that's been a massive trend. The other one has been, can I make things more sustainable? Can I add new claims so that I can align to our green positioning and our targets? And slowly but surely, companies have been able to do that while still offering great products to customers. That is a hard job for an innovator.
But ultimately, it's the same products and the same tastes and the same things on the shelf. So I think it's what you were saying earlier.
I always go back to the ice cream trend. Always. We've seen this is a category where if you look at best selling over the last 30 years, vanilla, chocolate and strawberry are still the number one best sellers. So the innovations are in a different mixing with a vanilla base. So you might get a vanilla ice cream with a chocolate swirl with a crunchy biscuit mix in and some popping candy. And you'll get a strawberry ice cream with a different swirl or a different mix in or some cookie dough with another ingredient. So you're still giving consumers an experience, but you're not taking the experience so far removed from the core flavor that they're used to. So you've seen a lot of that, little bits of fusion foods, fusion tortillas in meal kits, which are using Asian ingredients, but with a Mexican tortilla. And you're seeing that fusion happen. And that's great innovation, but is it innovation or brand new positionings? Probably not.
Almost, borderline disruptive is kind of what you're trying to look at. So we're very fortunate in our world that we get to see across multiple industries. I'm curious, is there an industry out there that you would highlight and say they're seeing a lot of this sort of innovation, or maybe even disruptive innovation happening?
So I watched, what are we today? We're on mid-September. I actually watched a few days ago the new launch of the iPhone, and of course, the Android users out there are probably going to say, "Oh, it wasn't very good," and the Apple users out there are going, "When can I order my product?"
Just a phone.
It's a phone, and of course, there's innovation. They talked a lot about having artificial intelligence built into their phone, and obviously the new innovations there. And they talked about how their Apple Watch can go further underwater now, and so the snorkelers can have their Apple Watch on and it can tell them how deep. These are innovations, of course, and they're improving these products. What I loved, if you watch the video, this is why I like watching this video, the innovations that they were talking about were about occasions. So they work their way through so many different sporting occasions that consumers may have. Some of them were quite niche. So from surfing to skateboarding to cross-country runners who have gone off into mountains somewhere to run around and no one knows where they might be. Those are the types of occasions that they were really talking about. Different types of swimming occasions, from open water to. So they were really focusing on this might be you. Of course, they're trying to connect with so many customers around the world. And I think that's where we've seen a lot of messaging for innovation as well in food. But in the digital trend, they're actually creating products and services. There was one other one that they launched over the past year. I'm going to stop. Wait, one more. One other one, which I loved, was the idea of safety is a massive area for consumers. And they developed a product which, if you're in a crash, your watch knows and it informs the police or the ambulance services that you've been hurt. That was a piece of innovation that is quite disruptive. So I think digital industry is creating quite a bit, especially with artificial intelligence. And we will see that trickle into food over the next few years.
But AI has definitely been disruptive and disrupted lots of industries in the last 24 months. And as you say, we have no idea where it's going. What I particularly like about your example in the case of the iPhone, the need states that you're referencing, and you mentioned they're quite niche. Well, I would ask, is Apple catering towards niche consumers, or are these need states that some people would aspire to, even if they don't currently go there, or even if they never will go scuba diving, but they'd love to be able to go scuba diving, and therefore they feel a sense of connectedness with that aspiration, perhaps? Blending marketing and emotional states, consumer needs together.
Where did the term aspirational brand come from? You're an aspirational brand. You want to be something nouveau for the consumer. So 100%, they are talking to consumers about what they might want to be. But I still think in the food industry, we can learn so much. So we've had a lot of work around, targeting like gyms and stuff with convenient food products the last few years, energy shots and so on. I think that we're still missing so many occasions that consumers are dying for, but we're not even mentioning it on pack. And it might be regulations preventing them, but we're not even exploring them.
I think we should explore that a bit further because, we have seen, for example, Gatorade brought out their sweat patch that's then linked up to your phone that then tells you, okay, I haven't drunk enough, drink some more. But that requires a new behavior. It requires people to start wearing patches when they're going to work out, which they don't currently do. Whereas the iPhone is saying you're carrying the phone with you anyway, so it's going to be in
We're
your
going to do
pockets
more.
anyway. And in actual fact, your existing behavior of taking it out of your pocket when you go diving is probably a pain point. So when you're looking at the food industry, then do you think that there's opportunity here to perhaps leverage existing consumption occasions, but at the same time address emerging consumer needs?
Yes, and I'm going to talk about a few examples. So a recent one was just in the messaging of a brand. There's a brand called Tofu, TOFFO, that we have in the UK, and of course they're a tofu brand. But what they've been doing in their messaging in the last few months, especially, I've seen, is how do I cook this thing? And they're putting it into every possible meal occasion that someone may have that they would do with meat, and showing how it can be used in all of those occasions. I really like that. It makes it accessible. That's an example, of a brand that's in a slightly new space, meeting a normal core occasion. But then there are major categories, just take dairy, that still don't quite realize the opportunity they have to talk to new consumers or talk to a different consumer group. So we were doing some research on women recently, and this is especially now, a generation of women where they're working, they're still parents, they're still trying to do both things. They're trying to work hard and they're trying to service their families, and do all of that, often sharing the jobs more than they used to in the past, but still doing a lot of that work that they'd have done anyway with less time. They're not sleeping. They've got a lot going on, and there's definitely an opportunity here to stop talking to maybe older women with yogurt products, for example, and actually meet maybe younger parents with sleep-related products, cognition-related products, focus, relaxation-related products to really target that consumer need. Really, really interesting space that is at the moment sitting in vitamins and supplements overall, especially that sleep trend.
Which of course requires a new behavior, taking a supplement every single day, taking a pill, versus I might have a yogurt with my lunch every single day. So why not take a functional yogurt?
Melatonin, valerian root, that are the ingredients
Right.
that we often see in the industry related to this. Why can't we? We've had enough protein yogurts. Why can't we talk about that occasion to really help that massive consumer group? So that's one. We also looked at another one. We've got, I love this one. So we've got Gen Zs, younger age group. They say they care a lot about their health. They say they care a lot about their ethics. At the same time, they're the biggest generation who are smoking, vaping, not cigarettes, vapes.
Right.
And they're not having tobacco flavors. They're having fruit flavors. But yet, there is definitely somewhere here where you target that vape space with maybe something functional that's also got very interesting flavors that you could maybe see in the energy drinks category, which is a big category for the Gen Zs. And maybe there's, again, a missed, untapped opportunity here for maybe something more healthy in the vaping space that could be functional instead of a supplement. So you're targeting an occasion they're already using with something that meets the other need of that consumer group. I'm going to give you one more. Because it was a great one from this week. We did a piece of research on gaming. And this is a data that surprised me. I would have expected that the gaming industry, the core food product that's targeting gaming, would be energy drinks, right? Probably that would be your assumption, would be that's the consumption occasion for an energy drink, gamers, because they're gaming into the night and so on. But looked at some research about symptoms of gamers, that what health issues they've got. They have physical health issues. They have cognition, tiredness, all of those things. In fact, I think it was half of gamers are suffering from a physical health ailment as a result of their gaming. And yet it's energy drinks. Only 20% of gamers drink energy drinks. More than half of them eat salty snacks. Why are we talking about energy drinks to this group, and we're not talking about salty snacks? So again, you've got this product that exists that they're already eating, but you're not talking about the fact that this massive consumer esports group, you could be targeting them with functional, tasty, intense, maybe uplifting products that they can enjoy while gaming. Firstly with branding, and then maybe with functionality. So a few different stories there that I'd love the industry to think about.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for on this occasion. It's been a fascinating journey from the iPhone 16 to functional vaping. I love the core messaging, though. Learn from other industries, use existing consumption occasions to target emerging consumer needs. All the products and videos discussed in this interview can be found posted down below. We invite you to comment, write in with your thoughts, challenges and feedback. We'd love to get the discussion going. Meantime, to close, I'm looking forward to our next discussion where we'll be looking at what I believe are the conflicting trends of processed food and alternative meats. But for now, from me, it's goodbye.